What's wrong with telling the truth? Why do I have to compensate? What's defamation? What comes to mind when you hear defamation? So many do feel that defamation is a tactic, is a move to stop the spread of negative information, and so long that you have the money to hire a lawyer, you'll be able to stop it.
So is the narrative accurate?
Today, let's discuss defamation. So we are going to use the story of John and Cindy. So John and Cindy had been dating for long, and recently John went ahead and broke up with Cindy. Cindy, who felt heartbroken, went to Facebook and wrote a very long Facebook post about John. In the Facebook post, she claimed that John is a cheater, he had dated many girls at the same time, and he's a player. Well, I'm sure that you have heard of similar story. But the question here is, does Cindy's Facebook post constitute defamation? For John to claim defamation, he only needs to prove this, that Cindy has published derogatory statement of him. So these words used by Cindy in her Facebook post, like cheater, dated many girls at the same time, player, are all derogatory statements of John's. Because these words are capable of lowering John's standing, affecting John's reputation in the eyes of others, and hence the Facebook post does amount to defamation. Do you notice this? John is not required to prove that the Facebook post is false, is wrong, is untrue. So what if Cindy is telling the truth in her Facebook post? Would the post still amount to defamation? So if Cindy managed to prove to the court, managed to show evidence to the court that her Facebook post was in fact referring to the truth, then Cindy would not be liable for defamation. She would not be required to pay any form of compensation to John for defamation. In case you are a bit confused, let's sort out a few main points. In order for a victim to claim damages for compensation, the victim have to fulfill all four requirements to prove defamation. Who publish a certain statement which is derogatory of the victim himself. So let's take the example of John and Cindy again. In John's situation, John would have to prove that Cindy had published statements which are derogatory of him. And if he managed to do that, but Cindy did not hire a lawyer to defend herself, did not show up to court to defend herself, then John would most likely be able to obtain judgment against Cindy for compensation on the ground of defamation.
However, if Cindy went to the court,
managed to prove that her Facebook post was in fact referring to the truth, then Cindy would not be required to bear any form of liability for the Facebook post. So while the story surrounds John and Cindy's Facebook post, you should know that those who commented, who shared Cindy's Facebook post, may also be held liable for defamation. How's that so? So if you shared Cindy's Facebook post to other third parties,
that would amount to defamation.
It is as if you yourself has written the Facebook post. You had published by sharing statements which are derogatory of John. If you have commented on Cindy's Facebook post, it would then depend on what will your comment. So if your comments are derogatory, then you would most likely be liable for defamation. For example, if you have written that John always brings different girls on dates, bringing different girls to dates would imply that he's a player, he's a cheater, he has cheated. So all these are defamatory of John, and hence it will amount to defamation. However, if you have written something like John is not good looking, so whether John is good looking or not is more of a matter of opinion. It doesn't really affect John's reputation or John's standing in the eyes of others. So this comment is not really derogatory of John, would not amount to defamation. What if you click like on Cindy's Facebook post? If you click like on Cindy's Facebook post and you make no other statement, you take no other action in respect of that post, it would be challenging to say that you have published any derogatory statements. Liking a Facebook post would most likely not amount to defamation. Before we end, a little summary here. Defamation is about derogatory statements. The truth of these derogatory statements are to be proven by those that publish these derogatory statements. So if you have published a derogatory statement, you should be prepared to pay the price, whether by hiring a lawyer to justify your statement or to compensate, to provide whatever remedy requested by the victim if your statement is indeed challenged. So if you are not prepared to pay the price, not willing to hire a lawyer to justify the statement, or if you are unsure if the statement is true, or if you have any way to prove the truth of the statement, then you should probably think twice before you post or share or publish any form of derogatory statements. In my own personal view, I don't think that the law on defamation is unfair. So the truth of this derogatory statement should be proven by those who publish the statements. Because imagine this, put yourself in the shoes of John. If you had stayed loyal to Cindy throughout at all times, what are the evidence that he could have brought to show that he's innocent? So that's all for our sharing today. Please do let us know, what do you think about this law on defamation? If you like what we have shared, if you find what we have shared useful, please do like, share and subscribe. Until then, see you!